the way that you had broken it to modules really, really helped as far as giving us the sort of like the building blocks to get to a stronger parenting method, which is great. I think relationship with the kids, certainly it's not perfect now, but it is way better, and we feel much more armed around like what we can and can't do within particular situations. So like, nothing but really, really wonderful things to say about the content of everything that you've put together. It's really great.
Do you feel when you started the program, you still had some areas where you didn't quite know what to say or what to do, and behaviors happened and you were unclear why behaviors were happening? Now that you've kind of gone through the modules, gone through the step-by-step process, do you feel more confident in knowing why behaviors are happening, how to respond in the moment in a way that's going to actually help instead of inhibit?
Yeah, I think that captures it correctly, in terms of like knowing why. Let's say, prior to, it was like, I don't know, maybe we were like at 40% confidence, and now collectively we're at, 75, 80% confidence. There's still like, that 20% where you just sort of like, whether it's us or the, contextual or just like some other external thing, like we're just sort of like, and you can never be a perfect parent around that. But not only has it improved our understanding of why and how to deal with it, but it's made us feel a little more better about that missing 20%, about like, cool, like, maybe we'll just never know, but at least we have the tools to sort of like address and validate the emotion and to sort of help them calm down, sort of thing. So it's been really great.
Yeah, and we're not looking for perfection. And even though I've been doing this so many years, I'm not perfect, and my kids aren't perfect. Like, no one's going to be perfect. And, you've only been going through it. If you think about it, when we start, sometimes we say, oh my gosh, 12 weeks. I don't know if I can do it. It's a big commitment. It's still only 12 weeks. So in 12 weeks, you've gone from a 40% to a 75%. So now what happens is nothing changes. You're just practicing. So that 75 to 100, that gap will continue to close as you continue to practice, continue to be consistent. But it's not about gaining more information now. It's about honing in on those skills. So I think your confidence will definitely continue to grow.
Yeah, that's great. But overall, like, I really have to say, from a personal standpoint, not from a parent, co-parent, like household standpoint, but just for me as a father, it was very transformative. And I really like the intent that you put into the actions coming out of the modules, right? That was something that it helped me think through a lot of things. And I find myself, whether or not it's repetitive to my kids and annoying, I find myself just sort of like falling onto that framework and just being like, hey, like, this is what works. Let's get you to these things. And, really wonderful resolutions come out of it, really wonderful behaviors. Kids are calmer, I'm calmer. So like really, really big impact. So thank you, directly to you, not just the program. And I understand that you've sort of like, you've taken the positive discipline and you've like, chunked it out into a much more palatable format. I've read the positive discipline and we were doing all right, but it certainly was something where I felt like I needed more. And so it's more applicable to day to day. It was like a great synthesis of that, of the book content.
Can I ask you one last question? What would you say to
parents
who are on the fence, who feel like, gosh, I've tried everything before. How do I really know if this is going to work? How do I know if this will actually make changes?
I would answer it in two ways. One, I was there. I was, in fact, I was maybe even more stubborn in that I was just sort of like, I think we're okay. And we generally have like a very good family life and good kids. Do I really need it? I remember the first conversation and I was asking you, will it give me value? And you're like, it will, because it'll sort of fill in the gaps to what could be already a strong household. So like, one, yes, like strong encouragement to go into the program, but then two, there is something that's very methodical, that whether or not you have the instinct around good parenting, or you've consumed a lot of that, there's something very methodical specifically about the way that you teach things that allows folks to really have it as like building it into your into your household. And that's not something that like that is that I've seen very much in any sort of like parenting media that I've consumed. It's always like, well, like here's either the thinking, and like now there's this cloud of ideas that you have to figure out, or like here's this very rigid system that doesn't take into account like 40, 50, 60% of the demographic that's actually consuming it. This is like, I love how the modules, you can, you help me, jump ahead for the sleep module, like, okay, bring it in because that's what's needed. It's stuff that you can like push around and make do. And like, it's a very modern and useful approach. So
I love
I
that.
would answer it in two ways, both of like where I was and then like the utility of it.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled that you found it helpful and useful and worth your time and worth your investment. I'm thrilled that you've made progress, that you felt like it was transformational. That's really what I love what I do. I love helping
Yeah.
families. I love helping kids feel happier, parents feel happier. And so nothing brings me more joy than that. So I'm very happy that you had that positive experience and for sharing it with all of us.
Yeah, definitely. For what it's worth, I think that you specifically, your passion that you bring behind it, the energy, like it's very clear that you love what you're doing.
Mhm.
And it's, it's something that I've never seen you tire talking about it, which is very, very awesome. And that in itself is very credible. Like, I found you on TikTok of all places, right? And like maybe that's a great starting point, but like it's stuff, your message resounds not just because of content but because of just how like authentic it is. And so like thank you, Tia, truly.
Thank you so, so, so much.